time cannot burn the light of the sun. In a world where all things are born and perish, time burns like a ceaseless flame consuming every form. Yet there is one thing it cannot touch, the light of eternal truth. This essay is a journey into the metaphysics of light, a meditation on what exists beyond time, seen through the eyes of Parmenides, the Buddha, Aristotle, and Heidegger, each seeking the same essence of being that neither changes nor decays. For in the deepest sense, time has never consumed truth. It is ignorance alone that vanishes when the light of wisdom dawns within the human heart. Part 1. The Metaphysics of Light, that which exists beyond time. When dawn arrives, the sunlight does not come into being anew. It merely reveals itself to our eyes once more. In truth, light never ceases throughout the night. It is only veiled by the darkness that momentarily obscures our perception. When the first ray touches the horizon, the darkness is not destroyed but simply withdraws, for it cannot coexist with light. So it is with ignorance in the human heart. It is not slain by reason but merely dissipates when understanding appears. And in that illumination, we behold a fundamental truth of life, that all things revolve in a cycle of appearance and disappearance. Yet there is something that does not change, does not decay, and lies beyond the conditions of time. The saying time cannot burn the light of the sun is therefore not merely a beautiful phrase but a doorway leading to the oldest question of metaphysics. What is it that truly exists? In a world where everything flows and transforms, human beings walk within the current of time. Old memories become shadows of the past. Unfulfilled dreams turn into clouds of the future. But between these, in the still moment of the silent heart, something remains unmoved. It is the same as what the sun performs each morning, the pure act of being, without the need for explanation. The ancient philosopher Parmenides of Elea once declared, "What is. To eon estin." To him, all change is but an illusion of the senses. The truly real neither arises nor perishes. It remains complete within itself. Just as the light of the sun may be hidden by clouds but is never truly extinguished, so too reality persists even when unseen. Humanity merely mistakes its own limited perception for change, though the underlying truth abides forever. Parmenides spoke of the One, the eternal unity of all existence. There is no coming into being, no passing away, only the abiding presence of what is. The phenomena of time and change that we perceive are but shadows cast upon the wall of that unchanging reality. In another part of the world, a kindred thought arose from the heart of those who sought liberation in the East. It appears in the Buddha's words, Nibbana Parama Sukha. Nirvana is the highest bliss, bliss not born of possession, but of release, release from the compulsion to arise and cease. What is extinguished is not life itself, but the fire of craving, desire, and time, the ceaseless flame of Sasra that consumes all things. In this sense, time is like a fire that burns through every form and name, devouring all things in its endless cycle. Yet there is one thing it cannot touch, the light of truth, or the Dhamatu, the pure element of reality beyond birth and death, like the sun shining from within itself, dependent on nothing else. When a human being awakens to that inner light, they are freed from the burning of time. Thus light becomes the supreme metaphor of truth, truth or being that transcends all corrosion and decay. The sun, then, is not merely a celestial object but a living image of the eternal, real that time cannot reach. If we look only with the outward eye, we see that all things move, arise, endure, and perish. But if we see with the eye of wisdom, we discern beneath all movement the stillness of a single, abiding reality, as the sea remains calm beneath the shifting waves. At this point, Aristotle continued the path opened by Plato and Parmenides. Unlike Plato, he did not locate truth in a realm beyond experience but within the very things that surround us. What we lack, he said, is understanding of the structure of being itself. He called this science metaphysics, the study of reality as being qua being. Behind every transformation, Aristotle taught, there must be first principles and first causes that render each thing what it is. To know something truly, one must grasp the root of its existence. He distinguished two levels of being, substance, ousia, and accident, accidents. Substance is the essence that makes a thing what it is. Accidents are the properties that may change: color, shape, size. Horses may differ in hue, yet horseness remains unchanged. Likewise, a human being may age and alter in appearance, yet humanity itself endures. He further proposed the union of form and matter. Matter is potentiality. Form is actuality, the principle that fulfills the potential. Wood, for example, has the potential to be a table, but becomes one only when the form of table manifests in it. The combination of form and matter constitutes the existence of all things, the doctrine known as hylomorphism. To comprehend a thing completely, Aristotle offered his four causes: the material cause, what it is made of; the formal cause, the pattern that makes it what it is; the efficient cause, the agent that brings it into being; the final cause, the purpose for which it exists. Taken together, they show that being is not the product of a single factor but a harmony of matter, form, agency, and purpose. Light itself is born of such harmony, of flame, energy, and the will to shine. To know something truly is to perceive the inner gravity that sustains it, just as the sun is not merely a blaze in the sky but the very center of meaning for the entire system. At the summit of his thought, Aristotle concluded with the unmoved mover, the cause of all motion that itself remains unmoved, not a physical force, but pure actuality, thought thinking itself, nous noisios, an eternal intellect contemplating its own perfection. He wrote, "It exists always in the act of thinking the best, which is itself." Metaphysics Lambda.7, 1072b. The universe, he said, is drawn into motion by the desire for this perfection, as every planet orbits the sun, drawn by the gravity of its light. In the deepest sense, the unmoved mover is the pure light of intelligence, a state of self-knowing untouched by time, being uncorroded by becoming, like a ray passing through centuries without ever losing its brightness. As centuries passed, the Greek inquiry into being faded beneath the clamor of machines, until a thinker once more raised the forgotten question, Martin Heidegger, in Being and Time, 1927. He claimed that Western philosophy had forgotten the question of being. He distinguished being from beings, they, reality of existence itself from particular entities, and showed that time is the horizon through which humans interpret being, though being itself lies beyond time's dominion. For Heidegger, time is not the enemy of being but its mirror, the field through which existence reveals its meaning. We perceive the eternal precisely because we experience finitude. We recognize permanence only through change. If there is one symbol that can gather all this understanding, it is the sun itself. The phrase time cannot burn the light of the sun becomes the declaration of insight that something in this universe never falls under the power of change, not because it resists time, but because it is that by which time becomes possible. The light of the sun is not merely a physical radiance but the image of the eternal truth, reality that exists in and of itself, requiring no temporal confirmation. Time is but the shadow cast by movement, the reflection of what light unveils, not reality itself. Shadows exist because of light, but light does not depend on shadows. So too, truth allows change to appear, but change cannot touch or destroy truth. When we awaken to this relationship, we see that truth never perishes with the days. The light of wisdom within the human heart is never extinguished, no matter how many ages rise and fall, for truth does not dwell beneath time's rule. Rather, time subsists within truth. The unfolding of past, present, and future takes place beneath the unchanging canopy of being, as waves move upon the still ocean that never itself departs. In that profound moment of realization, one may see oneself as a reflection of the same sun, a tiny spark of timeless radiance. This flame cannot be consumed by time's fire, for it is not born after the world but is the foundation of all existence. It stands beyond birth and death, beyond beginning and end. Truth, therefore, is not what light seeks, it is the light itself, the light that never fades. That needs nothing but the act of being. Thus, when we gaze upon the sun, we do not merely look at a star in the sky, but at the emblem of the unchanging order of the cosmos, the eternal truth that time can never devour, the same light that shines quietly within every awakened human soul.